Jared. He's patient, right?
No, he's pretty sharp.
Yeah, he did that no one else in the house can do.
Yeah, but he's a know-it-all. I mean, I don't think there's room in here.
Well, there will be after Richard gets rid of Big Head. He's a lightweight at everything. There's nothing to do.
But he's a great guy.
Great guy. But useless.
Yeah, he is a great guy. Not like that Jared. At least we can all agree on that.
I gotta talk to the people, son.
You are a YouTube goofball, okay?
Blackfist Fridays.
I mix what I like. I mix what I like. 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 Hey. Oh, my bad, everybody. What's up, world? Welcome to another edition of I Mix What I Like right here on Black Power Media. Again, I'm Jared Ball, trying out some of the new tech arrangements. And now that I got my soundboard thing hooked back up, we can get back into it as it's supposed to be done. At least a little bit, at least a little bit. Although I don't know why the sound. Okay, let me. Okay. My bad, everybody. Good morning and greetings to everybody. Those hearing this live, checking this out live, watching this live, welcome to all the remixers. Always good to have you around. To those who will see this later and hear this on all your favorite podcast platforms, shout out to you. Welcome to you as well. We got a lot to get into this morning. And we might be a little bit abbreviated. Brother Kaba's coming on in a little bit. We might be a little bit shorter today. Yeah, no. So I'm working with I'm trying some new stuff here. So first of all, like let me just say it this way. So if you see those who are members and patrons, I dropped a new video specifically for you all, to thank you all, and to try out a new, as I was saying in the video, my version of R.M. Brown, his style of video production and an approach to the commentary. And so I've been messing with the arrangement here a little bit. So there was one more step I still have to learn in terms of bringing all of that into this live stream. So that's why it looks a little bit different here. And I only got my partial green screen set up, but because I wanted to have it there, because we're going to talk, I can't help it. We got to talk a little bit more about it. Not too much today, but a little bit. And this is my Bitcoin throne. So I wanted to, whoops. So I still got, Biko and Asada and Donnie back there, but I wanted to get my Bitcoin. Yeah, sorry. It's supposed to be, you see the Bitcoin and the Game of Thrones. That's what it's supposed to look like. For those who are not watching this, that's all. Yes, good morning, Troy. Appreciate that, Elgin. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. The after party. I do hope you all who are members and others can check that out. Members and patrons, that is. And if you aren't, become a member and a patron if you can. It doesn't have to cost too much. Not like that. What did I miss? Sorry, I'm missing a joke there. Lisa, greetings. James, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Appreciate you all coming through. Hope you had a good week with the 300 in the chat. I hope we get there. That'd be nice to get there. But definitely, if you can, jump on your social media now and tell everybody to jump in here. And then, of course, like, share, and subscribe, and all of that, and come on into the show, because we do have a lot to get to. Man, hey. But this was my favorite old time drop from my old radio show is now I can now bring here. And since the show is on Friday, we can get back to our
it's Blackfist Fridays.
I mix what I like. Yeah, we can get back to our Blackfist Fridays on I Mix What I Like. That's what's up. But anyway, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun this morning. We're gonna have a little bit of fun and get into a couple of things. There are some definitely some stories I want to get to, and we do have to. I apologize, everybody. There's a little bit more with the crypto stuff, but I already see, and I want to start this. I might have to come back to this on Monday because I was starting to prepare something and I didn't finish it, but the arguments around oh, here we go. That's what I had not set up correctly. Hold on, everybody. There we go. That's on my bad. There we go. Brother Kaba is here. Greetings to you. Good morning. Good to see you.
Greetings. Was there some hate directed towards me? Some. Oh, I thought I didn't hear all of it. I just heard the hate. Something about hate.
No, I was saying that we were going to get into some hate. Because I finally got I heard the drops, virtual. Man. The new virtual soundboard I got hooked up, because man, I've had to learn a lot, man. I'm trying to learn a lot, man.
Watch out, y'all. Let's go.
So we trying to, so we are going to get into a little bit of,
I hate you. I don't even know you, and I hate your guts. I hope all the bad things in life.
You all have no idea what you have in store for you.
Oh man, so we got man. Plus I got a lot of little, I got some new stuff here too. So anyway, we're gonna have some fun, man. But anyway, like I said, man, it's good to see you again. Welcome back to you, Brother Kaba, and hope your week has gone as good as. Yes, indeed. Greetings to everybody and all of that. So, and I was saying that I might have to be a little bit short today, in part because there's been a busy week already, and then another thing is that I think there's another I got another issue with my tech here that's going to become a problem later on, I think. So we might have to cut it a little short, but I at least wanted to get to a couple of things this morning. And is that I'm hearing an echo now? Is that maybe not? Maybe
I don't
anyway.
hear anything.
Okay, good. But so one thing I wanted us to get to is that I just saw. So anyway, there are some other stories coming that we can maybe. Well, let me say it this way. I saw something. Well, we'll come back to that. Let me start with this one because there was. I just saw this, and honestly, was it? I don't think you were the one who sent it to me. But I don't know if folks saw this story here. Joe Rogan calling people black is strange unless they're 100% African from the darkest place.
He's showing his whiteness. Is that the?
Well, part of the problem is the first thing is, and because as I've been saying, I've been watching. Am I frozen here?
No.
Okay, I'm looking.
I think the screen might look frozen. We hear you. I hear you just fine, but it is.
Yeah. I think there is something going on here. I think is my issue starting already. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Anyway, let's see how far we.
Joe Rogan got reach, man. You start saying bad stuff about him, man.
He does.
Yeah.
So because I've been watching this R.M. Brown stuff so much, a lot of his shows focus on criticizing Joe Rogan and this guy Jordan Peterson, who I haven't really heard much of. So I've learned what I know about them through him, through the clips that he plays about them, and I disagree with almost everything that they say, their whole worldview and everything. But what I honestly thought was the funniest part about this story. So that because of course this is during a sit down with Jordan Peterson, and where Joe Rogan made his comments about, why he thinks black people are mislabeled. But it really was that it started, he said, the discussion initially arose when the two men began speaking about Michael Eric Dyson, a black sociology professor at Georgetown University. First of all, he's not at Georgetown anymore.
Right.
He's now at Vanderbilt, and I think it's not gotten a lot of attention. Interestingly enough, we brought it up here a couple of weeks ago, but it's, there has been some speculation his leaving Georgetown was connected to a series of accusations around sexual misconduct. And there were a group of women who put out a statement. Georgetown had a hearing. Georgetown's hearing apparently said that they found that he had engaged in some stuff. And then they and Vanderbilt apparently was looking into it. So the last I checked, it wasn't even sure he was going to be teaching at Vanderbilt yet. So, but anyway, but it's interesting because anyway, as they say here, Dyson previously called Peterson a mean, mad white man, which I would probably agree with Dyson on that. And then Peterson said that Dyson was actually not black, but was brown instead. So, I mean, can we actually watch the clip here?
Depending on who you ask, either you're
Yeah.
a voice of reason and rationality and personal responsibility,
Or is that just
or
on my end?
you're a voice of intolerance and bigotry and anger and hateful
sexual oppression.
What did Michael
Prejudice.
Eric Dyson call you? An mean, angry
and
white man.
Mean, yeah, and a mean, angry white man. Yeah,
Hilarious.
yeah.
You're not mean at all.
Yeah.
That's what's dumb about that statement. You're not mean at all.
I am white. Actually, that's a lie too. I'm kind of tan, and he was actually not black.
If you're tan,
he was
what
sort
the
of
fuck
brown.
am I? Because I'm darker than you.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but neither of us are white.
Well, I'm Italian,
and he was
mostly.
brown, not black.
Well, isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's really
the
weird.
black and white thing is so strange
Yeah,
because
it's like
the shades are so
tan and brown.
There's such a spectrum of shades of people. Unless you're talking to someone who is like 100% African from the darkest place where they're not wearing any clothes all day and they've developed all that melanin to protect themselves from the sun. Even the term black is weird. And when you use it for people that are literally my color, it becomes very strange.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
It's
so you were asking me.
Well, I mean, there it is.
I didn't really see. I mean, this is white peopling, and then there's also a lot of black people that or brown people who actually say that too. Who have that issue with I'm not really black. I mean, we got people that say that we're Moors and we're not black, and even though Moor means black, and it's just like just a whole bunch of wild stuff. But I mean, it's white peopling. I mean,
You are a YouTube goofball. Okay.
But I mean, look, I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And the shame of it though, if there's any substance to throw at in this direction, the shame of it though is that for me is two things. One, Joe Rogan has a huge audience.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Peterson has a huge audience.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just, well, it's disturbing. But then also, with the latest Spotify beef,
mm-hmm.
I don't like the dude's music too much, but every
Neil
time
Young.
I see him, Neil Young's politics, he seems to take the right positions politically every time I hear about him. And when Mary Clayton redid his song Southern Man back in the day, I mean, she killed it. And it was, of course, sampled by Outkast. Anyway, and then that song, he also got in a beef with Leonard Skinner over his criticisms of Southern white people in that song too. But anyway, but when Neil Young said either Joe Rogan got to go from Spotify or Spotify has to take my music, and apparently they're getting rid of Neil.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's people doing stuff like that. I think it's just so. No matter what you think about this whole thing, I think it's just silly, to do stuff like that. I mean, what are we 5? I'm gonna take my ball and go home. I mean, it's like he's either you can either be my friend or his friend. I mean, it's like you disagree on a particular issue, You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. First of all, he don't even. I read an article about that. He doesn't even have the right to do that, really, because he doesn't own all of his publishing.
Oh,
Just
well,
like
that's
most,
deep.
just like most artists don't own all their publishing. He said in
Yeah.
the article that his handlers, his lawyers got to him before the publishing company did and told him, well, you really can't do that. But I think that Spotify, just out of respect for him, did, release or remove the music. But he really didn't have the power to do it because, like most artists, they don't own their catalog. David Bowie's catalog just got sold, and a whole bunch of other people's catalogs have just gotten sold. So,
Oh, wow. Bowie didn't have his music either?
Well, no, it just got sold. His estate sold it.
Oh, his estate sold it. Okay.
Same thing with Prince. Same thing with Prince. His estate, sold, whatever catalog he had left. Yeah. That's it.
Money.
That Bitcoin. They sold it for Bitcoin, probably.
Yeah, Bitcoin. You saw, I don't know if you saw this, but that's what I'm sitting on here. That's what I was working on for my back with my Bitcoin throne.
I see. Yeah, man. It's pretty impressive. It's taking over space from Biko. Yeah. It's got more space.
Yeah.
It's got more camera space.
It's got more space to be. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. As my cost of living raises come, and you know what I mean. Like I got a lifestyle to get to, man. I don't have time. Biko's gonna get more and more pushed.
You're replacing Biko with Bitcoin. So I mean, it's totally
now you're really talking. Now you're really talking. Wait till I come out with my Bitcoin. My Bitcoin. That's what we need for revolution. A Bitcoin.
It is and the B is for Biko, ball, whatever you want to say,
Whatever you want. Biko, ball, Bitcoin,
Black Power Media.
Black Power Media, all of that stuff. So one other story that I wanted to get to real quick before anything that you have, and then the crypto stuff that I thought we almost have to deal with, and a little bit around these elections, man. My dear brother, I caught a little bit of Roland Martin's show, and I'm thinking if folks, please do, folks, again, members and patrons, check out your privileged content that I popped up there. Oh, DM Lawrence, appreciate you, thank you, appreciate you. I would like to, I'd like to hear what you all think about it. And I'm thinking of doing more of those videos for patrons and members, at least initially. And one of them that I was thinking of working on, I actually started to work on, was Roland Martin talking about the launch of his forthcoming book. But there was a section in that I do want to talk about a little bit this morning, because it was it's a sort of a reemergence of the issue around federal judges and voting, with this whole Supreme Court nomination piece coming up. So, or in the mix right now. But before we get to that, I did see this, and I wanted to alert folks, because I know that there are people out here who need work. All of us, could probably use a little bit more money, but there are people who are truly desperate. So, if and who might need just some other, but might be just looking for a career change. So here at I Mix What I Like, we are scouring the employment notifications, and this one came to me via LinkedIn, that Netflix is hiring a director of United States public policy. And it seems to be a very interesting job. In the job description, Netflix is seeking a director of public policy to lead Netflix's federal and state policy engagement efforts in the United States. The goal of which is to advance the company's strategic goals by proactively managing the company's relationships with government officials, and advising on regulatory matters across a wide range of issues that affect Netflix's business. So you could be either in LA or DC. That's pretty cool, with regular travel to both locations. And just sort of to the broader point I keep trying to make, that, what this economics versus politics piece, those in power are very well aware that you have got to be manipulating public policy, federal policy, to make sure that your business is protected. It's not just enough to have money, and in fact, I would argue you can't even make money without this public policy clearing the way. So Netflix is aware of that, and they are now hiring. So if anybody's interested, you know, director of U.S. public policy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. So good luck with that, and you know, we're here to keep people.
You know, the reach of the big tech companies and the power that they have. I mean, they pretty much have the power of government at this particular point. I mean, even to the point where if you could shut down a president, you know, as horrible as he is, or was, or whatever,
or was, right?
Or
he still
is horrible, but was just is as a being. I don't even know how human I don't know if we can count him in the species. But you know, I mean, I know technically, but I'm just saying, you know.
I mean, it's just one of those things. But yeah, I mean, you know.
I mean, but that aside, the fact that they can do that, you know, and shut down whomever they want, whenever they want. I mean, black folk have known this for a long time. If we criticize, you know, racism, we get, you know, shut down or for something very, you know, fairly small. And then these racist groups have been allowed to flourish for years and years. You know, and now the only reason why they're being brought up now is only because, you know, in my estimation, that, you know, the tech companies want to make sure that Joe Biden or some Democrat and not Trump again gets back in the White House next term, because I don't care who the Republicans run in 2024, they're gonna win. You know,
right.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, Sarah Palin might come out of the woodworks, whatever. But
I just saw her in an interview.
Yeah, because she's
back giving interviews.
Well, yeah, she just had a lawsuit against I forget some company for something. She lost it, but she'll be back, and I think, you know, I believe she'll be back, or somebody like her will be back. So now you got people saying, well, The Rock should run for president because they understand the cult of personality, and they say, well, The Rock would be good for America.
So in fact, so it's funny you mentioned that. So in fact, and I'm going to pull this up here. So I wasn't planning to do this, but now that you mentioned it, because that was actually what I mentioned in this special members only. I talked about this in this special members only piece. And I'm just going to pull up one quick part real quick, and let me know if the sound is not coming through properly. But this is a little promo of what you get if you are a member or a patron. And so Cigar and Jetty had done a commentary about how he's saying that The Rock or somebody like that should run.
That's what I was talking about. I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, good. So just check this out real quick.
But this is why.
I think he's right. The Rock should run for president, if for no other reason.
Uh-oh.
It's in vogue, baby.
Keep us in vogue, baby.
Oh, Lord.
Rocking.
Oh, Lord. This man done got a hold of some toys, man. He just we in for a ride, y'all. We are in for a ride. Goodness gracious.
So that's why now I admit I tried to wrap around some actual analysis in that comment in my video, but that's really the only
that's
point.
about as deep as it can get with these celebrity candidates nowadays. It's truly, I mean, Trump and probably before him Bush proved that really anybody could be president of the United States. Like truly. If they could do it, anybody can be president. So if Trump can be president, why not The Rock? You know,
why not?
I mean,
no, I mean, I think they, you know, from their perspective, they make a legit case that he is that popular, he is that well known. Nobody really seems to have a big problem with him. He is. I know they didn't say this, but this goes actually back to something from his rival's early career, Vin Diesel's early career. I remember I was teaching at College Park. This is years ago now, but and I had pulled out an article to discuss in class then about Vin Diesel, and the article was referencing a comment from his publicist who said that the point was that they intentionally look to avoid discussions of his actual identity because they liked the fact that he was racially ambiguous enough to be welcomed by everybody. That was a conscious part of his deployment into Hollywood. So that's why so I even when I hear Joe Rogan making the comment,
another testament to my less black is better theory.
Yeah. No question.
The least black is because he got a black daddy. His mama's, Hawaiian
that's right.
or something, or some from the Pacific.
Italian. It's black and Italian was what I remember his mixture being. But
I think his mother's like from the islands, from like the Pacific.
Oh, really?
The Pacific, South Pacific.
Well,
yeah, I think
it's
so.
very possible that my memory is a mess.
Yeah.
Like I know The Rock is from the islands. His black father and his mother's from the islands. Mm-hmm. One of the Pacific Islands. But I remembered Vin Diesel being black.
Oh, Vin Diesel. No, I was
Vin
talking
Diesel.
About okay,
right.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. No, I'm talking about Vin Diesel.
Okay,
so I was saying like because my joke used to be like I wanted them to keep making movies together, and I was mad that they were beefing with each other because I was like, if they keep making movies together, I have hope. Like there's a chance for me in this world. But they. But my point was that in Vin Diesel's early career, like way when he was getting started, they made a conscious effort to not get into his background. And it's similar to a thing I remember Will Smith saying when the movie Hitch came out, and they said that they paired him with a Latina because Hollywood understands that the United States doesn't want to see a romantic comedy, particularly in the South, between a black man and a white woman. Mm-hmm. And then internationally, he said there's no audience for a romantic comedy between a black man and a black woman. Mm-hmm. So they had to give him a Latina. And particularly, a lighter skin, more Eurocentric Latina to make that movie become a hit. Whether that was perfectly accurate or not, I've always thought it was interesting that it was that, at that level of consciousness for him.
I just saw the headline. I didn't read the story, but I just kind of saw it. And the actor John Leguizamo was saying that he got let go from some movie and his allegation was that because he was told that they didn't want it to be. The movie was being too Latino or something like that. So he had he had to step off from them. That's what his allegation. I don't know all the details. I just saw the headline. But just to your point, you can't. They believe that there's like no audience for just all person of color or whatever. So it has to have some kind of shtick for white. It has to have some kind of white hook in order for it to be quote unquote good.
Well, and according to Joe and Jordan, apparently the new thing is we have to become very specific and detailed with our hue and our coloring labeling. So like I think we all have to start walking around with like a crayon chart.
That's anybody who that's usually the response from this culture, from anybody who asserts their Africanness. And again, I go to African people even. When you assert your Africanness, an African person, of course, thinking like a white person, because we've been all that's been inculcated and socialized into us, education and media and religion a lot of times, does that primarily. But an African person will say, "Oh well, are you not really all African because you probably got some mixture and you probably got this and that, and you probably got this, and I know I'm Irish and I know I'm this and that." So we do that, so that they don't even need to do it. But of course, when they do it, it's more striking, obviously. But we hear that all the time, even in our own community. Unfortunately, I wish we were as clear. I wish we were as clear as they were, because they sure enough don't treat us like when they. Now it's interesting though, right? When we assert our Africanness, then they tell us how African we're not. But then when we say, well, we're human beings and I do have Irish and this and that, they don't treat us like we got the Irish in us and the mixture in us. So it's totally, it's totally willy-nilly. It's totally up to their discretion how they're gonna define us, which is why we shouldn't leave it to them. We should leave it to ourselves.
Boom. Self-definition. Important. I like you got the word on that one. So I'm just looking at my dying computer and I'm trying to gauge the time here.
A dying colonial computer.
That's really what it is. And I wish colonialism would die as fast as this computer. So I might come back to this on Monday, because I don't think we're going to have time to get into it properly today. But I will at least mention that I saw during this discussion of Roland Martin's forthcoming book, and they got into a discussion of the importance of Biden being able to appoint a black woman to the Supreme Court.
Right.
And in the discussion, Dr. Greg Carr again made the sort of aggressive comment saying that those who don't understand the importance of voting or who say we shouldn't vote should, quote, shut up. And so I want to come back to that argument that came up at the last election around that approach and this sort of public display, not just of him but of others, and raise some criticism about this overemphasis on democratically appointed federal judges. But anyway, I think we'll see where the computer is when we finish with this other thing. But I may just have to come back to that on Monday. Oh, right. Yeah. Josh, I see you. Thanks, Josh, for trying to clarify. We got that. I think we finally got ourselves clear. By the way, big shout out to Josh and Sister Aaliyah, who the Mix What I Like crew working behind the scenes to help us out here increasingly. I appreciate them.
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
And shout out to y'all for, giving opportunities to some young folks, man. That's great.
Man, we're trying, man. And I'm trying to make them, man, I'm trying to make them do more. I'm trying to do less. I'm trying to do less and less and less. By the way, you know what? Let me quickly make this, and I meant to do this, so I'm glad, we have a sort of a new way of, we're trying to institute a new way. I'm trying to institute a new way of getting guests on the show that takes the burden off of me. Admittedly, it's just becoming too much, and I'm becoming I don't know, I think I'm just less interested in all the back and forth around that. So if folks are either interested in suggesting guests for our show or being a guest on the show, please reach out to us at imixwhatilike@gmail.com. And, for suggestions, if you want to put us in touch with people that you think should be on, if you want to be on, please do that. And then, the crew will start to help out and arrange all of that. Because especially since I know I keep coming back to the crypto, we need to get some more of the radical Pan-Africanism back on here. As I think, was it Emma who suggested that? Anyway. But whoever suggested that, I agree with you. Okay, so speaking of which, let's do a quick transition here, and then come back and get to some of these. Not too much, but a little bit of a little bit, just a little bit. Back at
I mix what I like.
So, again, I keep trying to. Actually, that's not true. I'm not being real. I wanted to say I keep trying to get away from the crypto thing, but it keeps pulling me back in, like the Godfather.
What was that one song? But every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back. Remember that song?
I do vaguely. I don't know.
You used to rock to that joint back in the early 2000s.
Probably.
I think it was Nelly. That's probably why I don't remember.
Was it Nelly?
That's probably why I don't remember who did it.
That's probably why I don't remember.
It was somebody I don't like, but they used to play it all the time on the radio. Man.
The most I liked of Nelly was when he was on Kevin Hart's The Real Husbands of Hollywood, or whatever that satirical show was. I thought was funny until they had Robin Thicke on it. But
the most I liked of him was when he was with Ashanti.
Oh well, That's what I was trying to say about Hill Harper. You went from Taraji P. Henson to pushing Bitcoin. What happened? What happened? Like, I'm just playing. But other news outlets have their own particular coverage of these crypto related issues. So I thought we would look at this short story about the new New York mayor and his joining the Bitcoin trend
of the world, Wall Street. But traditionally, Black and brown people have not been able to fare well in the world of finance and banking. But many say cryptocurrency evens the playing field, and Black people are not waiting to be invited to the table. We're blazing our own trail. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is a self-confessed computer and tech geek.
I campaign on transforming the digital government to serve our city in the right way.
After winning his bid to become the city's new mayor, Adams said he would take his first 3 paychecks in cryptocurrency. The mayor will get his first paycheck today, and it will be automatically converted into
It's wrong, bro.
and Ethereum. A statement from the mayor's office says, this step taken by the mayor provides a leading example of how we can empower people through tech with a more diverse set of options to manage their finances. The cryptocurrency is a virtual or digital currency that works on what's called blockchain technology. All transactions are done online with no banking or government regulations. And Black and brown people have taken notice of what many are calling the future of banking. According to an article published in USA Today, half of all Black Americans, half of Asian Americans, and 49% of Hispanic Americans are familiar with crypto.
Now, just very quickly, let me pull it back to this. This again, now they're not saying, now as he said in the piece, this is percentages of the communities that are, as he said, familiar with crypto. And we've already shown that the numbers for who have actually invested by percentage of population are not entirely far off from this. For Black, it's 44, I think, % of Black investors are invested in crypto, as opposed to about 17% of whites. But this is part of the reason why. It's these kinds of news packages and claims that are part of the reason why, I'll say it again in a minute, but why Black communities are more likely to be investing, because they're the ones being targeted more heavily with the messaging, and of course have less wealth and or assets to invest in a variety of different stocks. So their portfolio is not going to be as diverse as white investors. So but it's promoted as some sort of positive, as if this is some sort of Black people being on the cutting edge.
Familiar with crypto. That's compared to 37% of white Americans. The same article cites a
so again, it's talking about not percentage of people who have actually invested, but percentage of people who claim to know about it and
aware of it.
Are aware of it, right?
Which found that 23% of Black people own cryptocurrency.
I realized that I've been thinking too small the whole time.
So that's their claim is that 23% of Black people own crypto, whereas the quote, the stat I was seeing said that 44% of Black investors have crypto. So they're even adding what sounds actually even worse. If 23% of the community actually is invested in crypto, that somehow sounds worse than 44% of investors, of Black investors, being invested in crypto. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it just sounds worse to me.
Brina Gilbert is a full-time real estate agent, part-time flight attendant, and fairly new crypto investor. We caught up with her between flights.
It's an asset class where we can actually invest in and actually take money out of while it continues to go up.
She went from buying stock.
So again, that's the Hill Harper line.
And take the money out.
That's right.
Which is why it plummets and goes up and down, and because people cash out and they like, oh shit, I got mine, let me cash out. And then other people like,
well, I want to show you. Yeah, I got a couple other clips to show from a new the best actually video I've seen on these issues. It's way too long for us to see it in its entirety, but it addresses that point that it's the first of all, it's that asset class language that Hill Harper and others are saying we need to be in an ascending value asset class. So you can hear the buzzwords, but then it's also the point that the people who are cashing out are only able to cash out, and to your point, get cash, US dollars, based on how many other people come in. And that's why particularly retail or low level investors or low asset or wealth income income having Black investors are the prime targets for this, because their little bit of investments through platforms like this, like Robinhood, etc., create the cash that can be used by other investors to cash out when they get out. Anyway,
to trading them. And then she learned about crypto.
A lot of us have been educated about financial literacy. And it's
Yep.
become a whole movement. It's like the new hustle, you know? And people went from the corner
got
to
that
now,
right.
like in front of their laptop.
But Gilbert also says in the beginning it was intimidating and people were discouraging, calling crypto a scam. But she invested time in going on her own fact-finding mission, and she determined she's on the right path towards creating generational wealth for her family.
You have to simplify it, right? So it has to be simplified. So you start with Bitcoin, then you go to Ethereum. Those are the the two stable coins, right? And then
actually, by the way, that's factually incorrect. Bitcoin and Ethereum are not stable coins. So not only
going
does
up and down crazy, the crash.
that's the point. Not only does she seem not to know what she's talking about, but one of the points I want to get to is that these news outlets don't know what they're talking about, and they want to. And because they are commercial themselves, owned by people who, and I'll have to look into the owner of Black News Channel for where his investments have gone. No, I know it's a white man, but I mean specifically, like, where are his investments? Because if he's heavily invested in Bitcoin and crypto, he is going to benefit from these news stories, encouraging people to invest on the become new entrants into the hustle, so that he can have money and his value. Anyway.
So we both have backgrounds in media, and so I know just listening to the report. That's not the way a straight reporter is supposed to report. I mean, it's extremely slanted towards it's praising the whole thing.
Right.
And if you're doing straight news, even if you believe in it or not, you can still do a news story around something that you support or whatever. And but you don't provide narrative. You just give the facts. He's basically giving an opinion piece. That's packaged as an actual news piece. So just then he said empowering Black people to help us build ourselves. He put himself in the story. And right before you stopped this clip just now, he did the same thing and talking about he was speaking in the affirmative of this whole thing.
But yeah, and then specifically to the point, Ethereum and Bitcoin are not stable coins, which are themselves tied to either hard currencies or like where Tether is supposed to be claiming that for every dollar that they say that they claim to have the dollar amount that represents the value of all the Bitcoins or the coins that they're trading. So it's supposed to be based on some one-to-one type of relationship, but that has also been brought up, which is supposed to make it more stable. But but Bitcoin and Ethereum not being tied to the dollar or the pound or to any other fiat government-backed currency makes them they're not stable coins, and their proponents say that this is ultimately the good thing, but she's mistakenly claiming that they are stable coins. They're not. They're just the most heavily invested in coins. So
yeah, and just last week, hackers reportedly stole about $33 million in Bitcoin and Ethereum too. So they were supposed to be unhackable, but that didn't happen. That did happen.
After years of Black and brown people being turned away and turned down at traditional banking and financial institutions, it seems crypto is evening the playing field, and minorities want to be major players. To underscore just how risky the crypto world can be, recently Crypto.com said the company suffered more than $30 million in losses in both Ethereum and Bitcoin after a widespread hack. The company also said, though, everyone who suffered a loss has been fully reimbursed. In New York, I'm Dre Clark for BNC.
So they would probably claim that this is what made that story a news story and balanced and whatever. But of course, as we've talked about here, the only reason that those people got their money back is because Crypto.com paid it back for them. Out of the sort of kindness of the heart, and which is of course to protect their brand and the much more money that they're making with all the use of their exchange. So to put it out there, like, without letting people know that the reimbursement did not have to happen, and it's not likely to be able to happen on other platforms, or if the loss is much bigger, because they're paying out of pocket essentially. is again disingenuous. It's
And
it's
those are
misleading.
the bigger ones, like you said, the bigger ones, you know. But
That's
what
right.
about all these other ones? It's like how many of them? It's like hundreds of them, you know.
There's thousands of
thousands
coins.
of
I
them.
mean,
Yeah.
there are all kinds of coins out there, and things being made up. Now again, I don't know who I by the way, when you're hearing the audio, it comes through cleanly. I'm
Yeah,
hearing a little
I'm fine.
glitch on my end. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so this next piece though, I have to say, I got to be real. I've watched it 1.5 times. It's all told, it's almost 2.5 hours long. We're obviously not going to see that much. We're going to just watch 2 short clips. I'm going to put the whole video in the chat in the show notes, because, and whoever sent this to me, please reach out again and remind me, because I really do owe you a debt of gratitude, because this video is really an incredible breakdown of not only cryptocurrency and blockchain, but of this new non-fungible token NFT craze, which has to be, and it can, and I think on a very much lower level, I think in this respect, we've done a pretty good job of making this point. First of all, that they're all cons, which is the point of this video, you know, summary in sum, but that NFTs, to get to the critique of NFTs, he has to go through this long history of crypto and blockchain, because NFTs are an extension of that technology and an extension of the problems embedded, inherent even in these technologies. The breakdown is phenomenal. And so all I would say is that anyone, to those who watch this video or watching or listening to this, to anyone that you encounter, or if you yourselves are still skeptical about my own analysis or conclusions, whoever you deal with has to be able to respond and answer specifically what this guy raises in this entire video. So if you're going to engage in cryptocurrency, if you're going to invest, or if you know people who are, please watch this entire video and then make sure you and whoever you're giving money to can address all of the issues being raised, so that you don't just get your money taken or thrown away. And then the only other thing I would add to this is that, like these other videos I've been watching a lot about the scams and the cons, please don't pay people for financial advice or investment advice into crypto and blockchain. Don't pay for courses. Don't pay for training for things you can learn on your own. If you're going to pay somebody $700 or $1,200 or more, which I see some of these price ranges for these classes. Wow. Honestly, if you're that dedicated or that committed to giving them that money and for the promise of being taught how to make money through investment, don't pay them for the training. Come up with another contract where you give them that same amount of money and tell them to invest it for you, and then just wait for your returns. Either way, you're going to lose. Either way, if you just give them the money for the courses, you're just losing the money. It's a waste of money. And if they can in fact make money, if they can in fact invest at the levels and that demand such high prices for them to teach you, then go ahead and give them $1,000 and then wait for them to flip it and get your returns and make the money that way. It's a much better way of risking that investment and having it come back. And plus, if they're real, why are they selling you classes? They should just be brokering for you. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I just want to play this a short few minutes of this part of the video, and then we're going to come back and watch another one in a little bit. He's just sort of wrapping up the history of Bitcoin. And this part here where he ends up getting into, I'm showing you because as we're being told, targeting Black and brown communities, that crypto and Bitcoin are the revolution. Kind of what I've been saying about who else is involved. He adds a little bit of detail to the bigger players that are involved and what they're involved for. And I think we need to be aware of that as well as we think about that. So let's check just a couple minutes of this.
That conceptually represents physical currency. The crypto coins in your crypto wallet are the actual money. And because this money isn't issued by a government, it is resistant to historical cash crisis.
Hold on, wait. I just want to back it up. I wanted to get the part about
gonna be like that. The idea behind cryptocurrency is that your digital wallet functions the same as a bank account. There's no need for a bank to hold and process your transactions because rather than holding a sum that conceptually represents physical currency, the crypto coins in your crypto wallet are the actual money. And because this money isn't issued by a government, it is resistant to historical cash crises like hyperinflation caused by governments devaluing their currency on purpose or by accident. It brings the flexibility and anonymity of cash and barter to the digital realm, allowing individuals to transact without oversight or intermediaries. And in a one-paragraph pitch, you can see the appeal. There's a compelling narrative there. But of course, in the 12 years since then, none of that played out as designed. Bitcoin was structurally too slow and expensive to handle regular commerce. The whole thing basically came out the gate as a speculative financial vehicle, and so the only consumer market that proved to be a viable use was buying and selling prohibited drugs, where the high fees, rapid price fluctuations, and multi-hour transaction times were mitigated by receiving LSD in the mail a week later. And as far as banking is concerned, Bitcoin was never designed to solve the actual problems created by the banking industry, only to be the new medium by which they operated. The principal offering wasn't revolution, but at best a changing of the guard. The gripe is not with the outcomes of 2008, but the fact that you had to be well connected in order to get in on the grift in 2006. And even the change of the guard is an illusion. Old money finance assholes like the Winklevoss twins were some of the first big names to jump onto crypto, where they remain to this day. Financial criminal Jordan Belfort, convicted of fraud for running pump and dump schemes and barred for life from trading regulated securities or acting as a broker, loves crypto. Venture capitalist Chris Dixon, who has made huge bank off the old web in his role as a general partner at VC firm Andreessen Horowitz, is super popular in the NFT space. He likes to paint himself as an outsider underdog, fighting the gatekeepers, but he also sits on the boards of Coinbase, a large cryptocurrency exchange that makes money by being the gatekeeper, collecting a fee on all entries and exits to the digital economy, and Oculus VR, which is owned by Meta, nay Facebook. Peter Thiel, who also went from wealthy to ultra wealthy off the Web2 boom via PayPal, loves crypto and is friends with a bunch of eugenics advocates who promote cryptocurrency as a return to sound money for a whole bunch of extremely racist reasons, because when they start talking about banks and bankers, they mean Jews. Some of the largest institutional holders of cryptocurrency are the exact same investment banks that created the subprime loan crash. Rather than being a reprieve to the people harmed by the housing bubble, the people whose savings and retirements were unknown to them being gambled on smoke, cryptocurrency instantly became the new playground for smoke vendors. This is a really important point to stress. Cryptocurrency does nothing to address 99% of the problems with the banking industry, because those problems are patterns of human behavior. Their incentives, their social structures, their modalities. The problem is what people are doing to others, not that the building they're doing it in has the word bank on the outside.
All right, that's one point I wanted to bring up, that I wanted to just, show that many ways of, in many ways, like I've been saying, that the claim that Bitcoin and crypto are changing things and replacing old harmful systems with new revolutionary ones is clearly not what's happening and not what was intended. The point I didn't play that led up to what he was saying there, that I think is really important, that they really flesh out in this video, is that the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper comes in 2009, right after the 2008 Wall Street crash. And what he or they and now all of the crypto enthusiasts or cryptogandists or crypto pushers are now have wanted to respond to is not that they wanted to fundamentally change what was happening that caused the crash, but they wanted to replace the people that caused the crash, so that this other wing of the elite could themselves get into the mix. So the way this guy describes it is that what was really happening with the rise of crypto was the 5%ers wanted to get into where the 1%ers were. Exactly.
You're not talking about them. You're not talking
not
about
them.
Okay.
Not them. in his context, this guy's context, in the white financial world context, the 5% elite wanted to get in where the 1% were. And that's where the battle was. And that's why you see all of these eugenics pushing, Wall Street financier, previous billionaires. That's why they wanted to get in it, because they weren't quite in that 1 or 1/10 of 1% class. They were just in the 5% ring and wanted to get in wanted to get into the mix of the people that crashed the economy and walked away with all the money. So they were like, hold up, son. We don't want to help the rest of these people. We just want to make sure that we can get in and we can create a sort of new bubble or a new wing of the economy that we can take advantage of. So, that's why, we don't talk to power here.
I got to talk to the people, son.
So you talked about Eric Adams, the New York mayor, being paid in cryptocurrency. I just looked up an article from the New York Times. They said Mr. Adams. This is them talking about his candidacy, running and everything. Mr. Adams raked in handsome donations from the hedge fund industry too, including from John Griffin, the founder of Blue Ridge Capital. And I looked into Blue Ridge Capital, and they are also into crypto. They buy crypto and futures. One of the other ones was Stephen A. Cohen, a chief executive of Point72, who donated to Mr. Adams. And it's also invest in crypto. Steve Cohen's Point72 Ventures make first crypto bet. That was from August of 2021 from Bloomberg. So it makes sense now that the brother is pushing the crypto, because his donors, his money, the people in his pockets are pushing crypto. So
well, I hate to say that I told you so. So I'll shout it through cupped hands. I told you so.
So
oh my goodness!
It's only gonna get worse too.
I know.
But let me play one more short clip from this, because this part speaks to and the whole thing is so dope, man. And I get it. Like I'm a nerd enough that I watched this. Like I couldn't wait to get in the car on the way home from work yesterday to watch the rest of this. Like I watched, and I'm gonna watch it again and again and again, because there's so many details in there and so many tributaries to follow up on. But what I like about this quick section here is that this describes sort of the moment that we're in terms of the zeitgeist again, and that the excitement and the propagandized enthusiasm around all of this, and why so many of us get the responses we get when we try to raise just a little bit of criticisms. Because at one point he makes it very clear. He says, just the basic critical questions that anybody would ask about any other business formation or any other investment they're being invited to, you're condemned. You're Beyonce beehived if you try to even just. Cool. So let me just.
Buyers
don't want that.
Means the secondary market for tokens will likely fail to materialize. This is what makes enthusiasts so deeply unreliable. They have meaningful financial stakes in an intangible, volatile thing that exists entirely as a collective idioform, a story about a potential future outcome whose value is based entirely on public perception. You can't trust what they have to say because they're currently holding a hot potato. And as much as they insist that they just really, really enjoy the feeling of a burning hot potato in their hands, do they? Or are they just hoping that you'll catch it? This creates an environment of toxic positivity where doubt is aggressively policed by both project leaders who have an obvious.
How popular is that phrase, by the way? Toxic positivity.
I've never heard.
I don't remember hearing it too much, if at all. I like that. I'm about to run with that. There's a lot of that going on.
Financial interest in hype, since their big payday is the minting rush, and community members themselves who have a speculative financial interest in hype. While all of that is logical in the pure sense that there's an effect that can be explained by an incentive, the output is effectively a self-organizing high control group. Doubters are ostracized so aggressively that it chills all conversation about a project's actual viability. All concerns are just FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Questions that would be utterly banal in any other investment forum. What has the team done? What assets do they have? Why should anyone believe that they can deliver on their promises? Are treated as hostile. And the frank reality is because there aren't answers. Party 8 Billionaire Club is just as vaporous, and yet they superficially succeeded. So there's incentive to enforce the collective illusion. This is multiplied by an internal form of performative etiquette. Participants ritualistically wish each other good morning and good night, boiled down to the shorthand GM and GN. That seems like a small thing. There's nothing inherently suspicious about good morning or good night, but in observed practice, it's a very distinct ritual, not merely a shibboleth, but a repetitive action that signals in-group membership and affirms loyalty on an ongoing basis. If you have diamond hands, it means you're willing to hold a token until some promised future where the value goes to the moon. You're not a paper hands loser who is easily spooked by instability, volatility, or the fact that there's no reason to believe that anyone is ever going to want to buy a crypto astronaut in the future. The shorthand WAGMI, we're all going to make it, is aphoristically bandied about even in openly zero-sum competitions where, by definition, most participants explicitly won't make it. But you can't point that out because that would be FUD. And if you're spreading FUD, then you're NGMI, not going to make it. And making it, getting rich is all that matters. HFSP, have fun staying poor. These are synthesized into a no true Scotsman paradigm. The we in we're all going to make it does not refer to we all. It refers to the select, the chosen, the diamond hands and the hodlers. Those who make it are clearly the we. And if you didn't make it, then you weren't. People who get angry about being scammed by a rug pull or by malware or by social engineering are berated and belittled for not following the crowd. This incubates a community trained to ignore warning signs and dismiss criticism, a community with internal language and customs that are explicitly incompatible with outside communications. Skepticism is FUD from non-believers who are trying to undermine the value of your assets and manipulate a crash or trick you into being a paper hand. It all maps onto narratives of sin and deception, a chosen few who are privileged with advanced knowledge about the promised land, which they can achieve by holding strong to the rituals and expelling all doubt. The end product is a self-organizing high control group. And the results of that are obvious. There are still people convinced that somehow someone is going to pick up the ashes of evolved apes and manifest the rest of the project, a belief based on no observable evidence.
You like the band?
So I'm going to stop it there. Again, I'm going to watch it again. I think the video is really well done, and the analysis is on point, and it's very detailed. So just those two clips alone, I think, say a lot. But and I really appreciated that from sort of a media propaganda studies perspective of how the messaging works. And if we start to kind of just as you just did in a microcosmic example a minute ago, if you just follow the money, you can start to see in a sort of a reverse pattern where the messaging comes from and how it's directed and formed. And the bottom line is that those who have already invested need new investors. A, because it rises the value of the already invested in stock or coin. And then more importantly, B, it provides that income, that fresh intake of cash that those who want to get out can take out of the system. And, so that's why, and then at the, but definitely look, so because I do get some critical responses, and people constantly sending me stuff, even politely trying to tell me I'm wrong. But so at least I just want to at least reemphasize the point about not giving up money for what. In other words, if you should be able to get for free enough of the answers you need to invest in a wise and safe way, if there is such a thing, or you should be able to get for free the information you think contradicts what I'm offering. Otherwise, just take the money that those people are inviting you to pay them for advice or for training and say, invest my money, flip it. Call me in 6 months with my check, with my bonus, and let them make money for you. So that's it. What do you think? Anything you want to add to that, or did you have anything? I'm gonna leave it there. on
No,
that.
I think we covered it pretty well. It's other than just to reiterate again, it is just another form of currency and another form of investment. It is not revolutionary. It is not what they say it is. I mean, just the idea now that we know that it's been hacked, and in fact, the people who were hacked basically were given what do they call the thing when they give the rich people free money? They were given a
Golden
stimulus.
parachute.
A golden
stimulus.
parachute, or a stimulus, either one of those. Like what they did last year with the top people that lost money. They just made it up and gave it to them. But that's not for everybody. That's not going to be for the majority of the people who have invested in these things. And it's the same old game. It's just a different name on it, and they got different branding, different packaging, different marketing. They're using now they're tapping into the Negro market, which means they really about to make some money.
So I hope that in the spirit of Bob Brown, we have taken the idea of cryptocurrency and hopefully even black capitalism outside. And what I like best about that is that
the laugh at
my
my
Harlem Nights crew, but my Harlem Nights family will maybe remember that scene from when Arsenio was outside shooting up Eddie Murphy, and the brother next to him got the little pop gun. So I left that part in there at the end. He got the would you stop it? Quick, I'm gonna get you quick. All right, anyway, real quick break. We're gonna come right back. Hold on.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
All right, brother Kaba, I'm watching. I'm just monitoring my power drop here. So, I think if you had something, let's go ahead and get to that and see how far we can go before I might.
Just really quick. Oh, it sounds like you might be. You still there? No,
I'm here.
Okay, you cutting out though.
I'm cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
I'm still cutting out because everything looks good over here.
You're good now.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Now everything looks good over here, but now, but apparently, anyway.
Yeah.
Let's keep fighting through. Let's see what we can do.
So you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a wild situation. So we live in a free country, right? And at will. These are at will states now. It basically means that the employer can fire you at will without any cause, but also that workers are supposedly able to leave. Well, this Wisconsin judge, stopped workers from leaving the job to go to another job for better pay. These are healthcare.
What?
These are the heroes. Oh yeah, these are the heroes that everybody was talking about. This is from this week, January 25th. It's talking about the vicious cycle and there are a lot of overwhelmed people in the hospitals. And so they're leaving jobs, going to another job. And so this particular judge has now forbidden them. And this is in a court case. So apparently somebody sued or whatever to keep them from actually moving on to another job. It was in Madeline Heim, science reporter, the Appleton Post Crescent, Wisconsin, explained it's unclear whether a group of former theater care employees would be allowed to start their new jobs at Ascension Northeast, Wisconsin, Monday after lawyers for both health systems made their first appearance in court on last Friday. The uncertainty is the latest development in a battle over healthcare employees that began late Thursday and is now playing out in court. It comes as staff shortages strain health systems nationwide. Nearly 1 in 5 healthcare workers have quit their jobs since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so basically that's the gist of it, is that now you can be forced, to stay on a job. You can't quit your job. They can fire you whenever they want to, obviously. But if they need you, so we talk about, organizing and laborers and all of that. But now they're working on this precedent here to be set to where now, if you're in a position where you're in a job that's needed and as an essential worker, again, all of the heroes that everybody was thinking and everything a year ago, if you find a better employment where you get better hours and better pay, better, amenities and so forth, benefits, you can't do it. And this is in Wisconsin, which was at one time the labor capital, or arguably at least, in the United States. And of course, it's changed over the past 15, 20 years or so. But this guy right here is a judge, Outagamie County Circuit Court Judge Mark McGinnis, temporarily blocked the medical workers from starting their new jobs with Ascension, and asked the judge to keep them from starting at Ascension until replacements could be found. So you can leave, but just once we find somebody else to replace you at your former job.
To the judge, we got to say,
It's wrong, bro.
I feel like, though, maybe I got distracted and I'm not here. I feel like I'm confused. How can you legally prevent someone from, I understand the right to work, quote unquote, means you have the right to, or that jobs have the right to not allow you to unionize, and that you have the quote unquote right to work without joining or paying dues to a union, even if you benefit from what the union does on your behalf. But I'm not clear how you can be prevented from getting another job. I don't understand how that's supposed to.
That's what's going on. And it's in Wisconsin. And I don't think it's an accident that it's happening in a place like Wisconsin either. Considering its history that I just kind of briefly talked about. I think that if a precedent is going to be set in this way, it's definitely going to be set in a place like Wisconsin, with its past. And I think
It's wrong, bro.
So these people are, they better pay, work-life balance, so on and so forth. They didn't even try to match the other hospitals' offer. They just wanted to, to say you can't leave.
I mean, that's crazy.
It's like, get out.
So we can fire you whenever we want, but you can't leave whenever you want.
Yeah.
That sounds like another form of that's like, it sounds like a previously formed institution, or a previous state of this institution. You know what I mean?
or like the Eagles. Like the Eagles, you say you can, what is it, Hotel California, you can never leave, You
can never leave. You can check in whenever you like, but you can never leave.
You can never leave.
Or my man in Bronx Tale, now you can't leave.
Right.
Anyway, okay, well.
So yeah, that was that one. That's what I got.
All right, well, listen, why don't we try?
I know you wanted to get to the Roland Martin, the judge thing.
I'm gonna take a quick. Let's take a quick break and give it a shot and see how far we can go with the computer. Let's give it a shot here and see what happens.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
So I don't know that. In fact, I don't have the video pulled up per se. So I don't have that part ready. So I might let's see if I can get it here real quick. But the crux of it is the crux of it is that Roland Martin, during an announcement of his forthcoming new book called White Fear, he had a discussion with his panel that let's see, I want to put it here, and I'd actually like to get to the whole thing, and I'm probably going to save that for Monday, but because there's a number of things that were said that are worthy of some discussion. And then I also think I'm going to come back on Monday and talk about Patrisse Cullors' forthcoming book on abolitionism, which I thought the announcement of that was interesting. Let's see. Here's the video here. So had you heard about that, Brother Kaba? About Patrisse Cullors?
No, I hadn't. I never knew. I thought she had didn't she just have a book out or something, a movie or Netflix or something like that?
I know. Well, she had the remake of Eyes on the Prize. They did that updated, an update on that.
Did you
Did you
it?
see that?
No,
I did see it.
I
Oh, you didn't see it?
No.
Oh, wow, man. Maybe we should.
No, I can't do it.
Somebody that I had been doing some work with or been in touch with was in that, and I had reached out to that person and said, just like, what did you really think, and was it what you thought it was going to be?
Was it good enough for you?
And they gave the kind of pat,
great opportunity. Yeah.
Well, no, like, I gave the interview. I didn't really know what the whole project was going to be for, but you know what? I might have to come back to the. I'll play the video on Monday. So let me at least do this part here, and at least start it here, because I can't really find it here. I don't want to take too much time. But the real point that I was gonna and I'll play it on Monday. But the real point is that and it might have been, maybe it was in another video. Maybe that's where I'm getting confused. So that's what I'll play the video on Monday. But what the issue was, because I want to talk more about the video separately. But what the issue was that in a discussion of this Supreme Court nomination, Roland Martin and his crew are really pushing that it be a black woman that Biden nominate.
Well, he already said he was going to do it. That's what he said.
He did say, okay. Oh, that's the part I must have missed then.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So he's already said that he's going to nominate a black woman.
So that means he's great. That means he's, we should.
So, but that's so maybe their discussion was happening before that announcement came out because
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it might have come out. I know because Stephen Breyer is stepping down. He's going to retire. So it obviously it came right after. It had to be after the fact that Breyer had made the announcement, and then that was like maybe 2 days ago, and then yesterday Biden said that he was going to nominate a black woman. But I think that was always, he had always said that. He had always said that he would nominate a black woman. Even I think when he was running, he said that.
That's interesting because they were discussing it like they were clearly pushing him to do it.
Right. I think they wanted him to make due on his promise or whatever.
Okay.
The things that he said. I didn't see it, but I'm assuming that's because he actually said that when he was running. He did say that he would nominate a black woman as for the Supreme Court.
So that must be what they were doing because Martin's panel was him, Dr. Carr, my man Faraji Muhammad, who I again I even just been on his show, his Baltimore based show, known him for years. They're on the panel and he's got a new show coming out. Dr. Carr's got a new show coming out on Martin's network, and the sister who I don't know was on the panel with them, and they first were making the point that of course they want Biden to nominate this black woman or a black woman, and then they said that they wanted to that he had already the first point that got my attention was that they pointed out that he has already done more than any other president, second only to John F. Kennedy, in his first year in nominating a diverse array of cabinet and judge appointees. Not all of them have gotten appointed, but he's nominated apparently more than anyone in his first year, other than John F. Kennedy. So they were already praising him for that. And then Carr made the point that he had made that caused us to have
Did they mention the part where he talked about he was going to forgive student debt?
No, not in this discussion.
Or give free health care, or at least look at it. They talk about,
and there wasn't even
they just talked about putting people in a job. They just talking about
that was it,
making individuals, dreams come true or whatever, aspirations be met, but not necessarily for the group.
And in this case, I want to add to the phrase from what's his name in the NFT video, but to me, this is black toxic positivity. The kind of praise for all of this, and with no discussion even of what are these black appointees doing, like Lloyd Austin, the Raytheon dude, and all of this stuff. Like what benefit to the world or to black people is it to have them in these places?
Well,
that wasn't even discussed.
Martin, defended him because the white folks were saying that he had, he broke the precedent because he was supposed to wait a certain period of time before he leaves corporate America, which is they all are hypocrites because they all do it. They all, go the revolving door,
door.
So but I mean, he was saying, well, just doing it because he's black. We need to defend the black man. Even though he was coming from some defense contracting background or whatever. But I'm sorry.
No, that's sort of the point. And so what it reminded me of so during this discussion, Dr. Carr again got animated. I mean, he's often animated, but with again, from my vantage point, this tinge of negativity. Now, the toxic positivity went to sort of a hostility directed at black people, who he says, to those who would say that voting isn't important or we shouldn't vote, quote, shut up, end quote. So what led to our online little spat, and I followed up with him even again recently in text messages just to say, look, I just want to be very clear directly that we don't agree, and let's so there's no hard feelings or whatever. But we do disagree on this. And I think my biggest problem, particularly with the genius of a Dr. Carr, my only problem, I don't even care that we disagree on this as much as it bothers me that he when he does this, he denies what I know he knows and can give life and room to discuss, of traditions of people and movements who rejected electoral politics or rejected mainstream approaches to electoral politics. So and as if people who say we shouldn't vote or we should do something else with the vote, as if there is no logic to it, as if there's no sanity to it or political analysis to it, as if it's just ignorance that should be responded to with shut up. And I just don't think that I've never really seen him as a teacher approach students that way. I've never really seen him approach people with whom he disagrees that way. So what I said to him, what I see is this commercial media performance is so unlike the best in what I know Dr. Carr can reach. So all I was trying to say, and I'll go back to this, and I'll cut it short for here because I see my computer's dying over here. But I'll make this available again, our Blacklash Collective discussion on this, where I brought up this exchange with Dr. Carr before, and in particular in the context of an article from Samuel Moyne that had come out a little while ago, a professor of law at Yale. And this was sort of my point with Dr. Carr, who also has a legal law school background. I was saying
he also teaches over at Howard Law as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to Dr. Carr, point me to, or let's have a discussion, or lay out. Don't just tell people to shut up. Show me where, lay it out historically. Teach a class, do a video, do whatever, make a Karen Hunter, whatever presentation, and say, this is why I'm saying that you should shut up. That and address some of the points that, for instance, Moyne makes in his article, where and I'll just summarize very quickly, that his point is, well, as I've said here, the judiciary has never done much to reinforce the representation of racial minorities. And he goes on in here to basically say, beyond the symbolism of Black or women or brown people being appointed to these positions, the Supreme Court, the federal judiciary has really been little more than symbolic and haven't done much to help advance anything. And in fact, he points out sort of the point I'm making with the after party thing, the after party concept. new video for patrons and members. Please go get it. Is that's the point. We should be looking to assume the struggle for political power over federal policy, because as Moyne points out, beyond the Supreme Court, beyond the federal judiciary, it is public policy that has made whatever advances for oppressed groups in this country that have occurred. So, and that comes from movements and organized struggle. It doesn't come from symbolic appointments to the bench, to whatever bench. So anyway, I'll probably come back to more. Well, I'll definitely come back to more on that on Monday. But I just wanted to that was sort of what I wanted to raise. And then lastly, in terms of the context of media and what we're trying to do here at BPM, is that these discussions are by definition limited by the space. So for whatever good, and I don't think what Roland Martin does is all bad, but for whatever good he's doing, the commercial space, the arrangements with Verizon and McDonald's and the attempt to capture all of that commercial money limits the analysis that I argue cannot go in those spaces beyond the Democratic Party, which is why we see these kinds of discussions presented. And that's why I think ultimately we don't have any political power, and it doesn't matter who they appoint. It's not going to have any meaningful impact on most of our lives. So
yeah,
I'll stop there.
Yeah, I mean, like you, I love Dr. Carr. I mean, just one of our great intellects, and just somebody that I have a lot of respect for, in a lot of ways, for a lot of the work that he's done and the things that he does. And we definitely disagree on this particular point. I've had him as a guest before and on the program several times, and I always enjoy talking to him. And we had a discussion off the air, around this topic around about a year, before Biden was elected. And and I was, because I had made some comments on the show about the same thing you were saying about voting, and it's not the be all end all, and so on and so forth. And so we had this discussion about the judges, and my retort to that has always been, at what point, when we had federal judges or state judges, local judges that were appointed by Democrats, did the system change in terms of the prison, the school to prison pipeline, or the prison industrial complex being fed with Black people? I would often go back to Bill Clinton, 30 some years ago, who was the president for 2 terms and appointed all of these, judges that was supposed to be so liberal. And then he turned around with Joe Biden and put out the crime bill, which basically handcuffed what few judges that might have had some kind of conscience and wanted to do the right thing. And many of them, if we recall, those of us who were around then, definitely we recall judges saying, "My hands are tied. I'm already mandated to give these minimum sentences or whatever, these maximum minimums, whatever. I forgot what the word was that they called it. Mandatory minimums.
The mandatory minimums.
The mandatory minimums.
And your phrase is exactly right. Our hands are tied. That's exactly what they said.
Yeah. So even if I'm a good judge, quote unquote, whatever that means, and I want to do good, I can't, because of Joe Biden and Bill Clinton. They put into law, like you just talked about, institutionalized into law, made policy that we're going to lock these Negroes up and throw away the key. And that was it. Now, I know that they did the Kimba Smith situation, but that was kind of like a cause celeb, and that was a way for Clinton to make himself look good. And shout out to Lonnie Grenier, who passed away recently, wrote the book Miner's Canary in the Coal Mine, a Miner's Canary, when she talked about her time with Bill Clinton and how he was a snake to begin with. But go ahead.
But just quickly, because that story was the sister that took a package for her boyfriend and in the process got locked up for life, right? For basically, right?
And she was a student at Hampton University around the time when I was there. Yeah.
Right on. Okay. Right. He had to work that in Hampton. Is that what you trying to be slick?
I'm just, gotta say.
It's wrong, bro.
No, yeah, but again, but even with that even symbolic example, that's all that ultimately it was. I mean, and look at the overall conditions of Black or any other community, and it's like what is being really gained by all of this? When I do believe it can be demonstrated, what is not gained or what is lost is just a potential. And so that's why, and it's not even, and again, it's not even that in terms of Carr, it's not even that it's that he has that position. It's that that aggressiveness and the hostility.
And
So
that
it's
is
like,
that's not who he is. That's not.
It's not.
I mean, if you know,
that's
him,
what I'm saying.
That's not who he is. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Again. I mean, that's why I honestly, that's why I even reached out again, man, because I was like, look, I don't want to. I feel like if I'm I'm not gonna not be able to be critical, but I want to, like what is it? Like what's happening? Like what that was anyway. That was my intent, at least, to be like, what? That's not. I don't know that guy. Is really the point.
And sending him some love and condolence. I understand his mother just passed and made a transition as well.
Oh
recently.
wow, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible.
So I think like last week. So I think I just found that out. So reach out to him and send some.
You know what? I will too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm texting him in a second because apparently my phone will be the one device that works.
Mm-hmm.
So I might as well send him a little. I didn't know that, but anyway, brother, I'm gonna wrap it here, man.
Okay.
I always appreciate you, man. Do you know what you're doing Monday on the Mighty WSW?
I have no idea, my brother. But it will be good. So stay tuned.
That much we know. That much we know.
I may have a certain young attorney who sometimes appears on this channel. I've been thinking about her because it's been a minute since I've had her back on. So we probably need to talk a little Africa. So I might have a certain young attorney. I don't know that because I haven't reached out yet. But I thought
she
about
doesn't know that she might be on.
But she doesn't know
she
that
might be on.
But
she doesn't know yet.
She knows to listen to her elders, because she throw that low underground subterranean shade at us old folk every now and then, pretty much every time she's on. But it's all good.
All right. Well, on behalf of all the bad guys, on behalf of all the bad guys,
you're all a bunch of.
Oh man, and all the
You are a YouTube goofball. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna continue to.
I gotta talk to the people, son.
Oh Lord, we could just do
it.
It's
Blackfist Fridays.
I mix what I like.
Just one day, just do all clips. Just one day, just get it out of your system. Just get it out of your system. Just all drops, all clips. Just you still won't get it out of your system.
I wanted to get it, Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a good weekend. I'll see you Monday. Thanks again to Josh and Aaliyah. Thanks to you, brother Kaba. If we didn't get to you, we didn't get a chance to check it, definitely go ahead and
Put it in the comments.
And I'll see you next time. Peace, everybody.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.